Hello, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here I am with our unboxing video of the new iPhone 5. Here I have the black version, which I'm just going to do a quick unboxing video for. Like its predecessors, available in 16, 32 and 64 gig varieties. I'm looking at 32, but for all intents and purposes they are exactly the same. In terms of shape, size and everything else, you really have to dig a bit deeper in order to find the difference in capacity. So very tight fit on the box. Boxes are somewhat bigger. There we go, managed to pop that out. Box is somewhat bigger than previous iPhone models, and iPhone's there on top. We're going to have a look also inside the box, and we have the guide, which has the now standard and familiar SIM card removal tool, and then we have the Hello Quick Start guide and iPhone info and 2 Apple stickers, which you seem to get with I think pretty much every Apple product these days. So that's your user documents and so on. You then have USB charger, which does seem to be completely unchanged from the previous. So that's the UK 3-pin with the USB connector on the bottom. Then we have the new headphones. Take a look at that in, well, let's see if we can peel those open. There we go. So they come in their own case, which is a bit nicer than the just bundle up as it was with previous iPhones. So they're a little bit different. We have a 4-pole 3.5mm jack, which means that they're compatible with other devices, and you can indeed still use your own standard headphones inside the with the iPhone 5. And then the headphones themselves have been redesigned to have kind of this sort of, I don't know, call it like a duct on the side, which pops it further into your ear, which means that, well, they claim that the performance is much improved. Then there's this volume control and remote control element here in the middle, which allows you to obviously just use that with iTunes and so on. Finally, at the bottom, there is the new cable. So this is the new USB to Lightning cable. So you can see it's quite small, much smaller than the previous dock connector that we had. And the nice thing about this is that it's completely double-sided, so it doesn't matter which way around you plug it in, it will still work. And also it looks a lot more robust, albeit smaller than the old dock connector. You can get a dock connector adapter, which is somewhat expensive, I think, at the moment. And then obviously there's going to be tons and tons and tons of accessories that will no longer work without, well, certainly not without an adapter of some kind. So yeah, that's a little bit of a drawback perhaps with the new one here. So to the phone itself, obviously it's a bit bigger in terms of display. And physically, let me say, put my iPhone 4S side by side. As we know, the screen size is a little bit larger, and it's now 640 by 1160 pixels. Still a Retina display, but it is higher res, effectively giving you an extra row of icons. If we just bring one here, there we go. Let's see. You can see in terms of the actual turn around display, it gives you an extra row of icons, as you can see there. I guess some people have been fairly critical of the new design, new iPhone, and so it's a lot of money to pay for an extra row of icons, but that's kind of what you've got. But let's take a look anyway. Design wise, well, you know, it's a very obvious evolution. We've still got the mute switch on the side, up and down volume control there, although that on the side now is, rather than being in silver, is now sort of a dark brush metally finish, which is quite smart, matching the rest of the design, and that continues around onto the back. On the bottom now we have the 3.5mm headphone connector, which obviously used to be on the top, is now moved to the bottom again. That's there's some criticism, so if you've got it in a dock, then you're not going to be able to get to your headphone connector. I think things are just going to have to pan out and change. You've got your loudspeakers on the bottom, and then the actual dock connector on the bottom there as well. Actually much smaller, as you can see. Not a great deal to see on the other side, the right hand side. There is the tray for the nano SIM. Quite how much smaller you want the SIM to be, well, who knows. But yeah, it does need a new type of SIM. It doesn't take the same size micro SIM as the iPhone 4, 4S and so on. It is a nano SIM. So if you're going to get one of these, definitely contact your service provider if you're not buying it through them, and make sure you get them to send you a nano SIM. On the top you have the power button. On the back, camera, which is 8 megapixel, also focus, does funky other stuff, and then there's the LED flash. And then the back's slightly different. It's not glass finish like the old iPhone 4's. Sort of a two-tone black and sort of a metallic-y silver grey, which is kind of cool. It's quite dark, but it just does make it a little bit different. In terms of the dimensions, it's only 7.6 millimeters thick, extremely thin, and really quite attractive. It's a little lighter than the old iPhone as well, at 112 grams. Size 123.8 millimeters tall, 58.6 millimeters wide. As I say, it's 7.6 millimeters thick. Feels really nice. I mean, in isolation on its own, I guess the fact that I'm quite used to using the iPhone 4, it's kind of obviously a bit larger in one direction and a bit lighter. But is it a drastic difference? Maybe not so much. I guess the change is a little bit more on the inside with the new A6 processor, which is a dual core, and 1 gig of RAM. We'd expect it to be, well, I think Apple claim it's sort of 50% faster than the old one, but whether or not that's, pans out to be the case, well, I guess jury's out. The white one we also have alongside. The white one's quite smart. It has white on obviously the front, then the side is the silver, and then accents of white on top and bottom, and then the silver on the back, which makes, I think that makes it quite smart. As you can see there, it's sort of that two-tone finish as with the black, but having the silver on the side is quite a nice accent, whereas the black is a little bit more, well, solidly black, I suppose. There aren't as many accents on it as you can find with the white version. Forward-facing camera we didn't mention. In terms of other stuff, I mean, it's kind of very similar. iOS 6, which obviously you can have on the 4 and 4S at the moment as well. Icons and other stuff that's already pre-installed. It's pretty similar. Maps obviously have had a lot of criticism. Whoops, let's go back out of there. Maps has found a lot of criticism from the press and media that they aren't as good as the old Google Maps. Tend to agree with that. They definitely are poorer, and they are much older than the equivalent Google Maps. Just doing some playing around with it. The maps I've seen are certainly sort of at least 18 months out of date in terms of some changes I've seen in road networks and things like that, versus the Google ones, which are an awful lot more up to date. Apple say they're going to work on that, but really that is the let's bring them back to being just the two there. So a bit lighter, a bit faster processor, slightly larger screen. Everything else, well, I guess we'll find out what the drastic differences are over time. We'll check them out and we'll take a look at them. But that is our brief unboxing video of the new iPhone 5. We'll come back with a review of sorts at some point. I know that the reviews are going to be pretty much to a penny on the web over the next few weeks, but I'll certainly be commenting on what I think of the new iPhone 5, and I'll be blogging, tweeting and so on. So if there's anything you want to know, if you want to ask us any questions, and you want to see what we think of the iPhone 5, feel free to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/TracyandMatt, or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. So if you want to ask me any questions about the iPhone 5, what I think of it, how I'm getting on with it, because iPhone 4S has been one of my daily devices, along with my BlackBerry 9000. I'll be able to tell you what I think of it as a comparison to my iPhone 4S. But if you want to ask any questions, then do let us know. But I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on tracyandmatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.